Welcome back to Real Insight. Today, I'm going to break down the chilling thriller crime movie, Girl in the Basement. The story opens with a tense, heartbreaking scene. Sarah and her father, Don, are rushing her daughter Marie to the hospital. Marie struggles to breathe, and panic takes over Sarah as the little girl stops moving.
You have to go faster!
I'm going as fast as I can.
Stop breathing!
She pleads with Don to drive faster. At the hospital, paramedics rush Marie inside, giving her oxygen, trying desperately to revive her. But the monitor shows nothing but a flat line. Marie is gone. From here, the film takes us back 20 years. We see a warm family dinner. Sarah, her sister Amy, their mother Irene, and the head of the house, Don. At first, everything looks normal, but the mask quickly slips. Don exerts strict control over his family, shutting down Sarah's wish to attend a party. His voice makes it clear, what he says is final, but Sarah refuses to be caged. That night, she sneaks out with her boyfriend Chris. At the party, the two dance, laugh, and share a heartfelt moment when Chris sings her a song he wrote just for her. They declare their love and kiss. The next morning, Sarah slips back home, only to find Don waiting, furious. The fight is explosive. Sarah fires back, vowing that once she turns 18, she will leave him forever. Later, Sarah confides in her mother and sister about her dream traveling the country, working, living life on her own terms. What she doesn't realize is that Don is listening, and he has other plans. He goes into the basement, where he reveals a horrifying secret, a hidden room, built like a shelter. 3 months pass. Sarah graduates, full of hope, but her father has been spending more time in his so-called man cave. One afternoon, when Irene is out, Don lures Sarah downstairs, pretending to need help with a box. He leads her into the secret room, tells her it was built by the previous owner as a bomb shelter, and before she realizes the danger, he locks her inside. Sarah screams for help, but the room is soundproof. No one can hear her. Her mother panics when Sarah doesn't return. The police are called, but Don smoothly lies. He insists that Sarah simply ran away, chasing her dream of travel. The police believe him. Irene doesn't. She knows her daughter would never leave without saying goodbye. 4 days in, Don visits Sarah in the shelter. Coldly, he lays out the rules. From now on, she will earn every scrap of food, even the air she breathes. Sarah, terrified and helpless, becomes his prisoner. Before he leaves, he takes advantage of her, showing how deep his cruelty runs. Days turn to weeks. Chris comes looking for her, worried, but Don lies again, claiming Sarah ran off with an old neighbor. With every visit, Don brings new torment. On Sarah's 18th birthday, he presents her with a cake and a red nightgown. She asks for a clock. His answer, if she wants anything, she must obey him. When she resists, he beats her. Nearly a year passes. Alone in that basement, Sarah's life takes a devastating turn. She becomes pregnant. When her time comes, with no one to help her, she gives birth in agony to a baby girl, Marie. And so begins Sarah's nightmare of raising a child in captivity, cut off from the world above, trapped in the dungeon her father built. 4 years pass. Life in the basement becomes a twisted version of reality. Sarah, now a mother, is pregnant again. Above ground, Don lives one life with his wife Irene and daughter Amy, acting like a strict but ordinary family man. Below, he plays master of another world, keeping Sarah and her daughter Marie trapped in his dark secret. Irene still can't shake the feeling that Sarah never ran away. Her mother's instinct screams the truth. She begs Don to hire a private investigator, but Don shuts her down, his voice cold and final. Downstairs, Don rewards Sarah for her good behavior. He brings a television into the basement, a small luxury meant to buy obedience. Soon after, Sarah gives birth again a baby boy she names Michael. In that suffocating room, Sarah tries to protect her children from the horror of their lives. At night, she spins their suffering into fairy tales. She tells them stories of knights and princesses, of brave journeys and happy endings. Her words become a shield against despair. Meanwhile, Chris, Sarah's old boyfriend, returns, still searching for answers. He asks Amy about Sarah, and Amy breaks. She admits the truth. Sarah never would have left without a word. Together, they speak of Don, of his cruelty and control, of their fear that he may have killed her. As time crawls forward, Sarah distracts her children with imaginary adventures, creating a magical world in their minds. Upstairs, cracks begin to show in Don's lies. Irene and Amy confront him. The house shakes with their argument, accusations, denials, and rage. Irene screams that she'll do anything to uncover the truth. In the chaos, Don drops his keys. Amy quietly takes them, desperate for answers. She creeps toward the basement, searching for clues, but Don catches her. He wrenches the keys back, and their fight explodes. Amy, terrified and furious, spits out her suspicion. He's to blame for Sarah's disappearance. Years continue to pass. Sarah gives birth again, this time to another boy, Thomas. Desperate, she convinces Don that the baby cannot stay in the basement. There isn't enough space, and she can't care for all three. For once, he listens. He leaves the baby in a basket on the porch, where Irene finds him. Inside, she discovers a heartfelt note, seemingly from Sarah. It says Sarah and her boyfriend can't raise the child, but Irene should. Hidden in the letter is a plea for help. Tragically, Don intercepts it before it can save her. His rage explodes, and he assaults Sarah again. The years blur. 14 long years have passed in captivity. The children grow older, their imaginations expanding their mother's bedtime story into a universe of their own. Marie, now a young girl, experiments with makeup. Don notices her beauty. His gaze lingers in a way that makes Sarah's blood run cold. She begs him, pleads with him to stay away from her daughter. Don's answer is cruel. He cuts the power, shutting down the system that pumps clean air. As they gasp for breath, Marie reveals her deepest fear, that she'll never meet anyone, never have friends. She still doesn't know the most disturbing truth, that Don is both her grandfather and her father. Upstairs, Thomas the baby who escaped the basement years ago grows into a kind young boy. One day, he finds Irene crying in Sarah's old room. Irene shares memories of her daughter, telling him how extraordinary Sarah truly was. Meanwhile, in the basement, water leaks from above. Raindrops drip from the ceiling, a crack of hope. Sarah seizes the chance. With nothing but a spoon, she digs, clawing toward freedom. Finally, she reaches the surface and flashes a desperate distress signal. A neighbor sees it, but instead of investigating, he reports it to Don. Don storms into the basement. His fury is merciless. He beats Sarah, even though she is pregnant again. The violence causes her to lose the baby. Alone, broken, she delivers a stillborn child. Her sobs echo in the silence as Don buries the tiny body in the yard, like it was nothing. When he returns, he doesn't show sorrow. He doesn't show remorse. Instead, he complains. To him, Sarah is still nothing more than his prisoner. Back in the basement, years of captivity weigh heavily on Sarah and her children. Don, now older, showers praise on Thomas the son raised in freedom, calling him strong and athletic. To Marie and Michael, trapped below, it's another cruel reminder of the world they've been denied. One day, they finally ask, when will we get to go outside? Don twists the truth. He blames Sarah, insisting that her bad behavior is why they remain locked away. His manipulation cuts deep. Sarah, worn down by the endless questions and the lies, snaps. In a fit of rage, she destroys the little furniture they have. Shattered, she collapses on the floor, lost in memories of Christ, the boy she once loved, the life she could have had. Her children quietly cover her with a blanket and clean the mess. They apologize, breaking her heart. In that moment, Sarah realizes they deserve the truth. She sits them down, voice trembling but steady, and tells them everything. Their beloved bedtime story, the one of knights and princesses, was never a fantasy, it was her life. She reveals the darkest truth of all. Don is not only her father, but also their father. The revelation crushes them. Marie, overwhelmed, suffers a severe asthma attack. Michael and Thomas feel broken, as though something is wrong with them. Sarah pulls them close, assuring them they are innocent, that none of this is their fault. The blame belongs only to Don. A year passes. Tensions grow worse. Don, spiraling after losing his job and facing foreclosure, lashes out at Sarah. He insults her appearance, rations their food, and grows more violent. Then, in a horrifying act, he connects car exhaust to the air vent, trying to suffocate them. By sheer chance, Thomas interrupts in the garage, unknowingly saving their lives. The next summer, Don hosts a cheerful barbecue in the yard, pretending life is normal. Meanwhile, below, Marie struggles to breathe, her asthma worsening. Sarah begs Don to take her to a hospital. At first he refuses, but Sarah pleads, promising silence. Finally he agrees, and now we're back where the story began, Marie being rushed to the hospital. Sarah clings to hope, watching in terror as doctors fight to save her daughter. Relief floods her when the heart monitor finally steadies. Marie lives, but the truth is hanging by a thread. When the nurse asks about Marie's medical history, Sarah hesitates. She claims Marie is homeschooled, treated only with natural remedies. Her eyes flicker across the room, desperate for escape. Then, a moment of courage. Sarah spills water on the forms, buying herself precious seconds. She slips away from Dawn's watchful gaze and rushes to a nurse. With tears in her eyes, she whispers the words she's held back for 2 decades. "I need help. Police arrive immediately." Dawn tries to maintain control, but the truth has finally caught up with him. He is arrested outside the hospital. Sarah rushes back to Marie, whispering that they are safe, that they are free. Soon, the family home is swarming with officers. Michael is carried out of the basement, gasping for fresh air for the first time in his life. Irene and Thomas break down in tears at the sight of him. From the back of a police car, Dawn watches as his empire of control crumbles. But the story doesn't end in tragedy. Months later, on a warm summer day, Sarah, Amy, and Irene sit on the porch, watching Marie, Michael, and Thomas laugh and play in the countryside. For the first time, they are children living freely under the sun. Then, from the driveway, a familiar figure arrives. Chris. He steps off his motorcycle, eyes filled with sorrow and love. He apologizes for not fighting harder to find her, for believing Dawn's lies. Gently, he hands Sarah a gift, a pink helmet he had bought her when she was 18, when they had dreamed of escaping together. Smiling through tears, Sarah puts it on. Together, they climb onto his motorcycle. The engine roars, and they ride off into the open road. Finally free, finally happy, finally living the life stolen from her so many years ago. And that wraps up the story of Girl in the Basement. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more thriller and crime movie explanations, make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.